Okay, let's continue our exploration of the expanse. But before that, we're gonna have a bath. The soothing water caresses your senses, and your grateful muscles welcome the chance to rest. A pleasant languor spreads through your body as you allow yourself a moment of quiet relaxation. I wish to see someone from my retinue. Which of them would you like to summon, your lordship? Idira. She always livens things up. At once. Idira takes a drawer from the hookah. She painfully blows a few smoke rings as she laughs lazily nearby. This is nice! 5 of my cabins could fit in here. And don't get me started on a rusty nuke I call a shower. I'm pretty sure you didn't call me here just so I die on envy, did you? What are you smoking over there? Just a mix of Iho and Obscura. Got a kick to it. Not enough to knock you out, but just enough to help you relax and distract yourself from your worries. I want to try. Of course, Lord Captain. Idra gives you a sly grin as she blows a thick cloud of smoke in your direction. Rare serpents of caustic smoke slither into your nostrils until reality becomes a blur. Your thoughts glow slow and sluggish, merging together into a bizarre kaleidoscope of mental imagery. After a while, the haze dissipates, and the image arrange themselves into the shape of Idira's face. She's watching you curiously. Can you hear me, Lord Captain? Are you alright? A kick is certainly one way of putting it. Wail till the crash gets you. Still, you are one tough nut ribber. I've watched seasoned voidsmen struggle to say 2 words after just a couple of drugs. But here you are, clear-eyed and talking sense. Tell me a joke. What's the difference between warp storm and a dispute at the Adeptus Administratum? At least 3, there's a chance the warp storm might end. Do you know any more? How many tech priests does it take to change a lumen? 3, 1 to wave a sensor, 1 to pray to the Omnisha, and the 3rd to servitors are served to do all the work for them. Okay, final joke. What do you call an unsuction cycle cabin? An emergency airlock. Idra declares smugly. That will be all, you may leave. Idra gets up reluctantly. Have a nice soak, Lord Captain. You to get in here, I require company and pleasant conversation. Then Fortison change opposite glance. Do you mean us, your lordship? There is no need to be shy. Relax with me for a moment. Orders received, your lordship. We will commence relaxation immediately. Their forces are lean and muscular. They sit down awkwardly in a bathtub, clearly fighting the urge to stand to attention. What would you like to talk about, your lordship? We wait your orders. I wish to be fed. It will be done, your lordship, your Lord Captain. The woman reverently places slices of exotic fruits and rich-smelling cheeses into your mouth, and the man brings a cup of azmek to your lips to wash it all down. They do everything for you except chew and swallow, but you suspect that if you were giving them the order, they would find a way to do that for you as well. Tell me about yourself. Do you have any other responsibilities besides guarding these chambers? For hundreds of years, our clan has been responsible for ensuring the rogue traders' safety during times of leisure and relaxation. The enforcer's voice is filled with pride. I guard the bath chamber, just as my grandmother did before me. She trained me herself and instructed me in my duties. This bath chamber can be more dangerous than battlefield sometimes. You can slip on our tile, you can choke and drown. If the water is too hot, you can burn yourself, and if it's too cold, you can freeze. There have even been cases where angry machine spirits have released sparks of the fury in the water. And of course, there have been numerous assassination attempts, and... The woman stops absolutely as the other enforcer loudly clears his throat. It is reassuring to know my enforcers are prepared for anything. It's reassuring to know that enforcers are prepared for anything. We live to serve your lordship. We'll keep you safe. What do you do in your free time? When we are off duty, we train, maintain our equipment, and pray at regulation-approved intervals. If we do have some time to ourselves, we might play some Tantulu, and Bran over here carves things out of soap scraps. She nods at her partner. Though for the most part, we barely get enough time to rest, let alone for leisure. Good. Idleness breeds weakness of spirits. The enforcers praise your strength of spirits and the unanimous denunciations of idleness echoes throughout the gilded bath chamber. You may return to your posts. Yes, Lordship, your Lordship. Thank you for the honor you bestow on us. We'll reassure our duties at once. Relax and close your eyes. The tension slowly retreats as you bring yourself to complete stillness, joined by John's muscle by muscle, paw by paw. Before long, you have surrendered to bastion of your border to the bliss of oblivion. Troubles, worries, laws, such things do not belong in this newly established dominion of tranquility. There are only the infinite waters of weightlessness, in which, stripped of all things superficial, the mind of Neroth Vox von Valentius drift in silent bliss. In a conscious mind, what fills the consciousness? Thoughts about the price paid for power, the constant path through which such power is obtained, and the people and things we will sacrifice for the sake of supremacy. The cost of power is great, but when it comes to accomplishing one's dream, no price is too high. The moment of serenity soon fades, the body reclaims the mind, binding it once more to the familiar share of flesh, sinew and bone. You feel revitalized. This was truly an experience worthy of a rogue trader. You had a nice little bath. Lord Captain, Astroparik Choir Master Zachary Weish is asking to speak to you via the private channel. Greetings, your lordship. I can report that the choir is listening tirelessly to the Immaterium in the hope of picking up voices from the dynasty ships of all worlds. However, we have heard something horrifying instead. Amid the Immaterium tumult, something is screaming. The scream is driving your choir mad. Until it stops, you have no hope of contacting any of the dynasty worlds. It is coming from Rykard's system Astrophatic Station. Who are you? Indeed. And we meet under lamentable circumstances. My name is Zachary Weish, and I'm proud to be the choir master of your ship's astrophonic choir. The duty I perform is to keep you in contact with the expanse via astrophatic message sent through the warp by trained psychers. Tell me, what is the nature of this scream? We do not know, your lordship, but it has brought the Immaterium to boil. It has always been a violent roaring ocean that could spell doom to any who would consider stepping into its waters. Now, however, it has become a cradle of madness where expelled images fuse together, twistings and cackling before crashing into the minds of all who perceive it. A mighty warp storm like the likes of which I cannot recall rages in the Empyrean, and it fills me with terror. If the screams stop, we'll be able to contact someone? I humbly hope so, your lordship. Perhaps we'll manage to send a call for aid to the von Valencius worlds or one of the dynasty allies. We'll pay a visit to the station. Thank you, your lordship. Lord Captain, reporting. The heralds of the Navis Nobilite continue to maintain vox silence, perhaps due to Eurag 5 being off-limits to visitors. We intercepted signals from the beacons drifting in the station orbits. The demands are clear. We're told to turn the ship around immediately. We have also detected an accumulation of space debris near the station docks. Presumably it is the remains of interplanetary shuttles. Perhaps the esteemed Nobilate House requires aid and therefore cannot respond to our Vox transmission. Contact the station. I will negotiate personally. The Vox relays the cadent sounds of grinding gears and clicking tumbles. I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The station does not reply even after an official greetings by Rogue Trader and the declaration of your intent to negotiate in person. Scan the station. Yes, Lord Captain. The Vox remains silent for a while, but then you hear static and Vigdvir's measured voice. The officers from the Augur crew perform a full scan of the station, but the information is imprecise. The note wave distortion of a clear genesis, and the throwing of most of the readings. We were able to ascertain that the reactor core of the station is still active, but many compartments are unpowered and some fully depressurized. The signs of biological activity are largely present in the central module, which means the station has not been abandoned. So the question remains, why are the esteemed navigators heralds ignoring us? Order the crew to commence docking with the station. Affirmative, Lord Captain. We do not know what it is happening at the station, so you will have to look for the esteemed navigators be blind. Dock safely and may the God Emperors light your path.
Pathetic worm. You dare to argue with your master?
It was not you whom I swore to serve within these walls. My lips are sealed.
Confess. What was the old man's last command? What are you planning?
Give up, Keeper. You have lost this battle. Again.
We're getting nowhere with these ones, sir. Permission to execute them.
Watches you will be considered into oblivion for the transgression against House of Celia. Monta and Peril, deliver your servants from peril. Praise would not help you, servants of the damned. In the name of House of Celia, I command you to execute the infidels. Not a step further. Master, we have some strange guests on the station. A tall man stops you with a gesture when you approach. Blood is trickling down the pearly scales of his weary face, and not just his own blood. Two jet black and blinking eyes are watching your every move, and the third one, the mark of Navigator's fate, is menacingly pulsing behind the lower lid of the middle of his forehead. Step back, or I will unleash all the horrors of the Sea of Souls upon you, and Peril, be my witness. Ablett, if you would be so kind. The Seneschal takes a deep breath. Before you stands his lordship, the rogue trader Neroth von Vox von Valentius, heir to the greatest protectorate in the Coroner's expanse and bearer of the sacred warrant of trade. Allow me to point out that nobility custom requires the Lord Navigators to introduce himself first, but given the unusual circumstances on the station, his lordship the rogue trader is willing to turn a blind eye to your hostility, but just this once. In this case, I shall turn a blind eye to your unceremonious invasion, but just this once. There is a dangerous glint in the man's dark, shrouded eyes. Very well, allow me to introduce myself. Before you stand Felek Christopher August, keeper of this place. So, you did not arrive to offer support to the traitors? This is a great news. Having said that, you must understand that Eurak 5 is a holy sanctum of House Orsilio, and the path to it is only revealed to a select few. It pains me to say you are not on the guest list. What is happening on the station? Where all these corpses come from? Betrayal. The most banal things in the life of a noble. But don't you think? I was stabbed in the back by my closest friend Theobald Orsilio, the second keeper of Eurak 5, and my mentor. On his instructions, my own people sabotaged the generators, blew up the shuttles, and brutally massacred the loyal servants of my mistress. Most unforgivably, they dared to take her prisoner. Greedy scum, I swear to the throne's light, their souls will perish in the darkness of the void. Felak falls silent for a few moments and then furiously slams the end of his staff into the floor. The madmen have captured Lady Cassia and are now torturing her upstairs while they are idly chatting down here. Help me rescue her or be gone, but waste no more of my precious time. Well, what kind of help are you talking about? I would never ask you for such a favor under different circumstances as yet. Felek takes his hand away from his rib cage, notices blood, and winces in pain. And yet Lady Cassia's well-being is above all. I haven't got many people left, and my wounds are too deep for me to act with precision and swiftness. But you may actually succeed. In order to ascend to the Mistress' Chamber, you will need to remake a holy relic sanctified with the blood of Lady Osiria herself. This is the control rod of the elevator machine spirit. I have one part of the other was lost during the mutiny, but even this relic will be of no use unless the elevator mechanism is powered. How do I remake the control rod? I have a phylactery containing the mistress' blood. I need to be taken to the laboratory, which is located behind one of the reliquary doors. The most ancient of sacred mechanisms will help to rebuild the rod. The tech priests carelessly performed the rites of appeasement so that the machine spirit will serve the house in this time of need. The fateful hour is now upon us. So how I'm supposed to power the elevator? The station main cogitator is situated in a guard room. Just enter the correct command sequence and the secret machine will do the rest. That makes sense. So what have you decided, descendants of the von Valentis line? I'll rescue the mistress, but in return I require the House Orselius sign a contract with my protectorate. Felek reply sounds curled and tired. So be it. Harry, the mistress's safety is all that matters, but should you fail, our arrangement is finished.
Embrace true power.
White. Bright, pure color. And it's all riddled with horrible veins that carry the poison of fear and pain throughout its body. Who are you? Why are you crying?
If the witch is the enemies of humanity who set upon this abode of noble navigators, then our weapons will soon dispel their wicked misery.
Compared to naval service, that was barely a challenge.
That wasn't so difficult.
The corpses were mutilated by force far beyond any mortal capacity. The faces are twisted in pain and the hands are fused with improvised weapons, tools, scissors and cutlery.
An expected result.
Let's seize the
This ocular
opportunity.
implant was a worthwhile investment. We should deal with this.
Never doubt me. The Emperor favors me today.
Stand firm, we must not let the miscreants defile House Orsilio. Fired well for House Orsilio!
Your struggles are in vain.
Urge them!
purpose guides me. I need no god. Death shall reign.
Moving out. Weather the storm.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone! Faith without deeds is worthless.
On it. Anything else?
Be gone!
Weapon at the ready. Break their morale!
Follow my lead.
Stay vigilant.
From the ashes I will rise.
A tactically sound approach.
Victory is imminent. Reduced to dust. I will do my duty.
Follow my lead. My faith strengthens me. Follow my lead.
My ears are ringing.
Weapon at the ready.
Your Aegis, O Emperor.
The ruin beckons. I will not stoop to this. I will triumph. My purpose empowers me to prevail.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury. Strike with a prayer.
They who discern the future own the battlefield. Will do. What an unfortunate turn
Blessed
of
are
fate.
those who sacrifice for the Imperium.
At your beck and call. One fewer target.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
What is this foreboding?
I've seen worse battles than this in my time.
Heretics!
I'll do it.
The world will bow.
Your seneschal is always there for you. This wound will make a fine scar.
Blessed be the hand of the healer.
Let me help.
Your help suffices.
Tremendous horror, yes, but this promotion will transfer the entire squad to the Charles' personal guard. But the God Emperor, well, you are strapping lad. You will probably make it for the cycle of 3. It has worn down the better men than me. What even is the point if your brain turns into mush? I may rip out my eyes like Amos did, but best I'll just go bonkers like a little shit stain that keeps stealing our I-ho. Oh, what happened to that one? Threw himself out the pressurized chamber because some voices told him to. Calm down. Keeper Felix said the squad will not have to serve the child for long. He even gave us a little leeway. Unlike that fish-eyed. Be quiet, he might hear you. Well, you know what I mean. He almost busted our heads because someone forgot to check the catering unit. We haven't let in a single outsiders in over 10 years, but Keeper Theobald keeps finding things to fret over. Imagine the shrieking in the fines our Keeper Felek didn't make us inspect the hangar after Lord Winterscale's most recent visit. Throne forbid. I try to steer clear of the squabbles among the Highborn. Some of Keeper Felek orders make little sense, like the last one to command. He commanded that we cut off communication with Rykard miners for a while. Why would he do that? It looks like he grew tired of Winterscale's science visits. Well, it's always pleasure to aid Keeper Felek. That's right. If the Highborn have grown tired of each other, let them deal with it.
Intriguing. Failure stings.
There is no failure in my game.
I tread a path unexplored. Perfection.
Most of these unfortunate souls took their own lives by slicing their guts wide open.
Nothing escapes my sight.
Embrace true power. triumphant, as always.
Statue of a famous Calixian sculptor and chronicle Zachary Vernon the Magnificent, the 23rd years of the millennium original.
Powers unseen uncover my path. Empyrean guides my gaze.
Duty prevails.
Damned warp! If we'd been in real space, I'd have...
Spare me your wailing, witch. Every voice that sounds in your mind is a whisper of the archenemy.
The world trembles beneath my feet.
Experience? Nothing matters more.
Cast your eye there.
Let's seize the opportunity. Predictable.
Never doubt me.
I tread a path unexplored.
Did you hear the screams? Move! Say, are you alright? We can't hear anything. Now I see you are in a league with them. Is this an insurrection? Yes, indeed. Death to the traitors! What are you doing? Expose yourself, sir! I know you're all traitors. Traitors, all of you. They told me, they whispered, hey, who are you?
Intriguing.
Research notes of Navi's Laboratorium Custodian Fortuna Orsilia, Path 13. Keeper Theobald gracefully agreed to provide samples of his skin growth so we could study the influence of the rebellious immaterium on the flesh of the Navis Nobile. Just as we thought, navigators are positively resistant to the restless currents of the warp. The God Emperor truly does shield some people against corruption and misery. But let us get back to the study of mortal flesh. Another servant will be carried in shortly. I must ready the organ extraction equipment. Adamantine dust and black water. This was the worst idea that could have entered my mind. God Emperor, be praised. I'm lucky to still have my head on my shoulders after this reckless experiment. Nevertheless, we did make the important discovery. The adamantine seems to protect the frail flesh of the lawborn to a degree. Having said that, not even the macerator can handle its temper, so we should probably introduce a more complex compound into the formula. All of the data related to the experiment were recorded on data crypt K040H. I will get back to them later once I'm done with the experiment H41OK. Have I mentioned that the chunk of meteorite found by Keeper Felix subject is completely useless? Although its shining granules could be used to make new paints for the child. Yes, I think I'm going to do that exactly.
Perfection. Triumphant, as always. Powers unseen, uncover my path.
Whoever has his tongue cut off, just like the rest of the lesser servants of the House of Sylvia. For some reason, the arch enemy's twisted influence has found his way into the station. The cogitator's vivid screen is covered in cracks and stained with dried blood. The buttons, switches and levers were ripped out from the control panel with exceptional cruelty and scattered around the sacred mechanism that now sparks and hisses in agony, still refusing to perish. Awaken. He turned a few of the remaining dials and pulls the activation lever. The cracked vivid screen of the sacred engine flickers. The cogitator's insides emit creaks and groans, and the lumen oscillates at random. It takes a while, but eventually the machine spirits do grant you access to the cogitator system. Request data on a station navigators. After a brief pause, the data appears on a vivid screen. Felico Siriano location main hall. Theo Modor Siriano upper chambers. Calomira Osiriano upper chambers deceased. Alexia Osiriano lower levels deceased. Ramus Estivian Osterio unknown status deceased. The child location upper chambers, biometric parameters, rapid heartbeat, elevated body temperature, stress level exceeds the permissible limit, status unknown, error. Attention, coming procedure advised. Attention, upper chamber inaccessible, error. The control rod is not present. If the rod has been misplaced, immediately contact a station keeper of the Navis Laboratorium custodian. Examine the logs. The archive data stored on a cogitator's location data could be partially corrupted, but you still managed to access the residual logs for examination. View Vox report 12AH890. The Vox recording hisses for some time before you hear a voice. This is official A282 to G copy. Several generators overheated on the lowest level chambers. A2D are unpowered. The tech priest crew sent to investigate the problem is not responding, requesting backup. The officer's speech is interrupted by shouting and the recording abruptly ends. Officer H123 speaking. 207 have perished due to explosive decompression of the living quarters. We've located traces of mechanical interference. The preliminary cause is officer sabotage. Crews 5, 6 and 9 are cut off from the main compartment. We have enough oxygen for 20 minutes. May the Emperor save our souls. Senior station officers, this is the captain speaking. We attempt to contact the Winterscale Science for help, but something is jamming the signal. We never received a reply and cannot be sure it was even sent in the first place. A rescue team is not coming. We are on our own, so remain vigilant. Anyone could be a traitor, you hear me? Anyone. If you are in doubt, shoot to kill. The following voice recordings are too badly distorted to make out even a single word. Examine the recent entries of the incident log. Report X880 originator classified. Date classified. The servants close to the child have started butchering one another again. The order came from above to have their remains reprocessed. Report X886 ordinator classified. Date classified. The negotiation with the Winterscales were a success. A new batch of servants will arrive in 10 minutes. Escort them to the laboratory at once. It is imperative that we increase the new retainer's resistance to the child's power. Report X891 originator classified. They classified. Data expunge. Examine the station docs logs. The log is almost completely corrupted, but you managed to recover the last entry. Identify confirmed. Regent Arnello Osirio. Date of visit classified. Reason for visit classified. Date of departure classified. Examine the security and life support logs. The yellow lights above the control panel flickers to life and singular repeating message streams down to vid screen. Warning, damage in technical compartments A12, B3, D8 and H24 detected. Warning, living quarters L10, L16, L28 depressurized. Warning, unable to access the station docking system. Warning, energy regulation system unknown error. The station will transfer over to emergency power. Immediate evacuation of facility is advised. Warning. View the encrypt data. Something buzzes in the cogitator's metallic gut. Several red lumen lights up above the vid screen. Required access level security captain or above. Current access level senior security officers. Break through the machine guarding defenses. You easily bypass the restriction imposed on a sacred machine. The cogitator overloaded processors wear unhappily. Most of the encrypted data has been wiped. You find traces of the purge protocol. Recovery is impossible, but a list of the most recent commands having been embedded in the machine's spirit consciousness now fits across the screen in a single creeping line. Child delete, picked floor, disable access code, annual station controls, delete, activate shuttle, self-destruct, purge, command log. Exploring the archives for a while longer yields a surviving expert from the guard captain's report mentioned that the security system had recently been reconfigured without his knowledge. His comment reads, "Only the keeper on the station have access to the life support system, but Keeper Theobald do not left the child's side, and neither the Hadai. Could it be?" Return to the list of available commands. Call Riker Minus for help. The system cannot carry out your command despite the eager compliance of the machine spirit. One thing is certain, the problem does not lie in the cogitator's mechanism. Switch to the main chamber controls. The cog within the sacred mechanism slowly starts turning with heavy grinding and clocking. The tired machine spirit grants you access to the station control, or at last, the part that will still obey the cogitators. Open all doors on the level. The cogitator's vivid screen goes dark as if the machine spirits have fled their mechanical casket, but your assumption is incorrect, as it fills with static just a few moments later. You can barely make out the inscription amidst the flow of rapidly changing symbols. Warning: data corruption. It could take us a few moments. Gather data from this active system. According to the report, this door has already been opened. You push a few buttons control panel, but the system rebels and keeps resetting your command. According to the data, the compartment you are trying to open is depressurized. Takes a few moments. Gather data from the station active system and procedures and follow the message. The protocol has been executed. The passage has been opened. Main elevator controls. The few manipulations with the switches make you realize the elevators to the upper chamber is blocked. Activate the elevators. This inquiry confirmed.
embrace true power. Ruinous favor prevails.
Static amniotic fluid pools across the floor, barely discernible traces stretch to the side opposite the entrance.
See? Right there.
Let's seize the opportunity.
Laboratory Journal H4045LS. Experimental section. The child's influence on the psycho-emotional state of various representatives of the Imperium. Access level Assyrio T prime. Experiment H45451. Subgroup low-born male. Test subject exhibits sign of acute stress. The majority perished of blood loss within a day of being placed in the laboratory chambers due to the inability to hold the discharge of ocular secretions, tears, and the body's subsequent replacement of this secretion with the connective tissue of the internal environment. The individuals with the greatest resilience to the sacred child resonance died several chronoturns later. Extensive wounds in the abdomen, presumably inflicted by a jagged piece of metal. Death was caused by strangulation with the subject's own intestines. The subject's final shout exhibits concerns over abominable tentacles and void worms, hallucinations prescribed to their own internal organs. Experiment H45452, subgroup low-born female. The test subject dies within an hour of entering the laboratory adjacent to the child's chamber. Most had their tongues bitten off or their jaws badly dislocated. Some test subjects lacked the physical strength to separate it from the rest of the skull. Cause of death, severe head injuries caused by impacting the walls of the floor. Experiment H45453 subgroup, a paralyzed patient who lost the ability to speak due to the shock caused by malfunctioning accident, male. The said subject noted a tingling sensation in the deteriorated tissue. During Agent Oronoto Orsilio visit the child, the last subject smiled and started humming, most likely trying to carry some plebeian tune, and then attempted to address the servant who brought him food. A lengthy conversation was prohibitive due to the servant's lack of tongue. Experiment H45454 subgroup, a definitive offspring of Lord P. Orsilio, pronounced unfit for studying the high art of navigation, owning the mutation of tissues required for installation of obligatory augmentation that merge one's consciousness with the vessel. Additionally, they display the overall feebleness of mind, female. This subject mirrored the child's actions for 3 days. On the 4th day, the child became upset after hearing the news about the untimely demise of Amos Cantrell, the officer of a personal guard. As a result, one of the test subjects peeled away several layers of the tissue from her face and died from the resulting massive heart attack. The last surviving test subject was executed for attempting to contact the child. Recent notes of Navis Laboratorium Custodium Fortuna Orsilio Part 12. More and more servants are being influenced by the Immaterium, and it has nothing to do with child's more frequent tantrums. We've discovered that the corrupted flesh of the mutated reacts most unusually to the crystals we purchased from the Winterscale dynasty. I strongly recommend finely grinding the reagent to catalyze the reaction. Do not use acid under any circumstances. Trust me, you will not like having to tend to the burns for the next dozen turns in a row. This calls for something more basic. Oh, and one more thing. The tech priest blessed by the data crypt H410K for the calculated number of chronoturns, which means it is no longer necessary to remain near the device while waiting for the reaction to start. The data crypt H40 Okay, all manufactions over the course of our research, it should remain the technomans for deliver the sacred mechanism into Magos Dictorium capable hands.
I see the forbidden. A revelation was sent to me. How fascinating. The world trembles beneath my feet.
Whenever psychic power used by the psychic is damaged, a random enemy within 2 cells from the initial target suffers half of this damage. The damage is not triggered this talent again.
The world will bow.
Compared to naval service, that was barely a challenge.
Felek Orserion looks a little better. His tangled hair is now neatly braided, its wounds are tightly bandaged, and there is some healthy colors under the scales of his cheek. You dealt with the threat and powered the elevator. Well done. I trust you brought the activation rod as well. Remember, every second of hesitation may cost my mistress a life. Idra suddenly cocks her head and drives her nails deep into her shoulder. Then she starts mumbling. The crossroads. There are 2 paths, both stained with blood, both leading to the accursed eye. They all wear masks, so poor and flimsy. They fall to the slightest touch, one hiding a blind mind, another a traitor. Tell me more, what paths? I cannot say. One is paved with blind faith, the other with hatred and treachery. Both lead to tragedy. You simply have to decide what kind of tragedy you like the most. Who is who? Who do you see behind the masks? My whisperers are giggling nastily. They will not speak. They're not the naughty little things. They say that tearing off the mask is your concern. Thank you, everything is clear now. Idria nods tiredly and glances at Felek out of the corner of their eye. This station has enough problems without your sorcery, Psyche. Felek waves Idira off and looks at you expectantly. I have many questions regarding what happened on the stations. You think they are worth the life of a mistress? The madmen I thought were convinced that we were the traitors. Felek gives an indifferent shrug. That's why they're insane. Will you really heed the ramblings of retainers who dared to raise their hand against the science of noble bloodline? The servants alone cannot be blamed for what happens in the station. Most corpses are discovered were either unarmed or feeble. Did you really think mere servants could plan a coup? The senior officers are just as guilty. Have my guards butchered one another because they suspected treason? As for the real culprit, the coup was staged by those closest to the mistress. Destroying the shuttles, shutting off the power and disabling the security system. Too many things require special access. Access available only to the keeper of the station. I'm sure you are aware there were two keepers of the station. Your guess is absolutely correct. Theobald Orsilio, he demanded old man obsessed with Lady Cassia and her power, and also the one to blame for the woes that they befallen Urak 5 and our noble line. I listened to a recording to a private conversation between the station's officers. You were very lenient towards them, purposely neglected security protocols. I was lenient, that is true, and in the end I paid a steep price for it. Just look for the destruction around us. The insurgents have left almost nothing of my home. The keeper spits out the last few words with particular bitterness. I saw the security captain report. Only the keepers have access to the station systems, but Theobald stayed at his side the entire time and could not have initiated the self-destruct protocol. Which means he did it before the report was failed, or maybe after, or Felix then face twist and discuss. You dare suspect me of what happened? The one who is going out of his way to preserve what little there is still left? By the God Emperor, you will keep those slanderous accusations to yourselves. Enough lies, Felek. I am certain that you are the ones behind this coup. Felek nods wearily. I suppose it's time to remove my mask. Congratulations, you've got me. But did you really expect me to be sincere this entire time? To welcome you with open arms to an ally of Tispion and her monster, the accused child who has tormented the navigators of House Orselia for years. Don't make me laugh. You arrived to help her completely destroy our house, and I cannot let that happen. What are you babbling about? I know nothing of Tysphion or monster of any kind. You do not? Felek hesitates for quite a while. In that case, accept my sincere apology. For the deception and my early behavior, I had no intention of making an enemy of Von Valenci's heir, nor of destroying the station that serves as my house for many years. They left me no choice. You cannot even imagine one monster lurks in the upper chambers, an evil, a plague, a pestilence of our bloodline that seeks to destroy House Orsilia from within. And Theobald and his followers, just mindless fanatics serving this evil. Lady Cassia is a scion of a merciless tyrant, but it is not her relation to Thysphion that is terrifying. She is a monster whose power drives servants insane in mere turns. A cursed child who can kill a navigator from the Orsilia bloodline with just a look. I alone managed to get close enough to her over the years. She lowered her guard and trusted me, and at long last I rid my house of the curse. This is the truth. If your cursed child agrees to become my navigator, I will gladly relieve you of his burden. You do not understand. This is... Felix slobbed my sentence, makes a brief pause, and then nods to himself. You are correct. This may work. It certainly is possible. You are going to need this charm. Felix hands you a precious stone without a setting. A luminous surface remains cold to the touch no matter how long you hold it in your hand. If you manage to press it against the monster's skin, whether by force or by guile, the baleful influence of her power will recede. You will be able to take her and leave the station. Pale figure with unnaturally long limbs covers her face with her hands, which are formed of talon-like nails. Her deathly pale face is coated with blood that continuously streams from her scarlet and misted eyes. Her spindly gills, slightly hidden under her disheveled hair, twitch nervously as you approach. Only now do you notice the third eye on the young woman's forehead, hidden by a jewel ornament. And where your eyes meet, you sense overwhelming, soul-smoldering power. As though the worldly creature gaze slides over you, the entire course shudders in terror. Flashes of past-world nightmares re-emerge from the shadows of your memory and paralyze your will. You gasp for an air terror, drowning under a crashing wave of pain. You cannot catch your breath. Cold tears burns on your cheek. Why is this happening? Why is this happening to you? Why do you feel so lonely and in so much pain? Do these feelings even belong to you? Idra emits something between a moan and a drawn-out whimper. Ow, ow, ow! As if my own little pulse weren't bad enough, now this one's barging into my head. Somebody stop her. Heresy! Argenta looks at the fall of a tall figure with a strange mixture of anger and sadness. Then she lowers her head, and her white hair veils her face. By the Emperor, if you do not stop your sorcery immediately, I will shoot you in the head. She wearily shakes her head and lets out a drawn-out sound similar to both a sob and a howl of a small wounded animal. What is happening? Was someone calling my name? Are all the betrayers already dead? And you, who are you? You, girl, may address me as your lordship rogue trader. And under whose tutelage did you learn etiquette? The Space Wolves? I'm a Lady Navigator Cassinia Tispinia Everlia or Celia. You may address me as... What is this? I feel faint. The heavy-set old man who has been kneeling nearby erupts in a low sobs. His eyes, swollen from crying, darts desperately around the room as though the veil of ignorance has just been ripped away from him. The child, Lady Cassia. Where are you, second child? Throne preserve. Despite his venerable age, the navigator leaps up and rushes to the opposite side. You! The old man shifts, revealing his face to you. It is threatened, reddened with jet-black veins, and his bulging milky eyes bear a striking resemblance to those of the dead fish. A sickly, sweet scent assaults your nostrils, as if the old man's flesh is rotting inside his decaying husk. My eyes fail me, for they are unable to make you out as either enemy or ally. I'm warning you, one wrong move will bring the wrath of House of Celia down upon your head. Watch out, though, Captain. This one's so deranged. He's making the whispers shriek like crazy. He might just open that eye of his. Threatening the head of the dynasty is a grave offense, esteemed, whoever you are. Abelard places a hand on his weapon. I mean you no harm. I came to seek Navigator's aid. I'll grant that you do not look like pirates who came in varying reaches of wrecked station, or like scoundrels in Felix service. Who are you? Neroth Vox von Valencia's rock trader. Another rock trader in our corner of the galaxy? How interesting. You can always make an appearance in the desperate times, ready to cut a deal that benefits one side alone. Given that you have not so far drawn your weapons, your intentions are probably peaceful, and so House Ocelio now asks a service to you. Save the life of a child in exchange for future cooperation. Do not hurry to answer, think on it. You can make yourself an ally or an enemy of a House of Ocelio today. You decide. Why is the curse that has taken hold of everyone in this room? Theobald frowns. Curse? Do not understand the sacred gift given to our child. When the child is sad, we all weep. When the child smiles, we all laugh giggling. And if the child wants blood, the world turns crimson. The child's will is the will of the great Tisiphone, for she is the heir of the house Orselio. And they call me dangerous with my witchcraft, Dira mutters under her breath. You look frightening. The fish eye look at you with unwavering dignity. You were not supposed to see me, or Felek, or the sacred child. Navigators are highly paid for their loyal service to the Imperium according to his will. No one would dare judge the guides of humanity, chosen of the galactic sovereign himself. I want to know what's happening between you and Felek. Felek? In my wayward student, he came to Urek 5 as a callow youth. I personally mentored him and entrusted him with the care of the child. He was like a son to me. But he proved to be just another traitor. He sought to steal our most precious treasure and heir to the house, our sacred child. To revel in power with others like him, casting our house into the abyss to prevent the centuries-long traditions of our family. You can see the fruits of his villainy for yourself. He decided he was not bound by his duties to the legacy of the greatest of our navigators, Tisiphone Orselio, who led our house to prosperity for countless years. Foolish boy. The renegades clouded his mind. They sought to seize control of a dynasty before the Surge child had come to age and taken up Novator's throne. So choose whose side you are on, a murderous traitor or a lawful scion of a noble house. Theobald speaks these words softly, looking at the unconscious young woman with reverence. What service do you ask of me? He glimpses in the navigator's milky eyes. Save the sacred child, take her away from the station. I fear I do not have long left. A bluish rivulet trickles down the old man's chin, and he wipes the mutated bloody briskly away from his sleeve. You glimpse strange burns covering his flesh under his clothing. The slightest movement must be causing him unbearable pain. Save the child and deliver her safely to Regent Arnato, acting head of House Orselio in the cosmos expanse. Rest assured that the reward will be worth your effort. I know we came here for Navigator, but after everything we've seen, I've got some reservation about this girl. Magenta looks at Cassia, and a painful furrow appears on her brow. Such a fragile thing with such a heavy burden upon her shoulders. You are talking as though you expected to die here. Theobald shrugs indifferently. My service to House is coming to an end. The wounds Feleg inflicted on my flesh will never heal. I am dying. Praise the throne slowly, enough to see the child taken care of. How could you lose control on your own station? Do not thrust my arrow in my face. I'm twice your age and twice as wise. Take my advice, trust no one but yourself and the Emperor. Even those closest to you will betray you for gold, power, or as far-fetched idea of a bright future. Feleg said that the child is a monster, a legacy of tyranny that must be wiped out. And you believed him? After everything he has done to the station, Feleg only wishes to dispose of their heir and take the reins of his bloodstained hands. Do not besmirch Lady Cassia's good name. The child is the holiest and the most innocent creature on the entire station. I believe I have made my decision. Is that so? Please share your thoughts. Feleg is the true monster. Let's do away with him together. Theobald dips his head in favour of the proposition. Allies are always welcome, even temporary ones. I will revive the child, do not be alarmed. The powerful Falzatelia heir will help us destroy our enemies and shield us from Feleg's navigate forces. But you rest for a time before battle.
Intriguing.
It's about time we repay those who betray our house. Come. Rogue traitor, you treacherous worm. I knew I should have killed you. This is enough, boy. You betrayed the child, our house, and Thy's throne herself. Surrender. I am a savior of our house, and I am prepared to pay the ultimate price. Kill them!
Your existence is naught but ashes.
Death to his enemies! Was it you? Or... Will do. But of course.
Break them around.
I must not fall.
Battlefields are always drowned in scarlet.
That is not my destiny. Will do.
Justice for the... I'll do it.
Stay vigilant. Follow my lead. My faith strengthens me.
It will be done. At your beck and call. It will be done.
I reject the very idea. What a satisfying demise.
Follow my lead.
Follow my lead. Weapon at the ready.
Moving out. Weather the storm.
Reduced to dust!
On it. Be gone.
Emperor, give me strength.
Purpose guides. High momentum.
Guided by faith! As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it.
Break their morale. Stay vigilant. Follow my lead.
Someone else can do this.
I took care of this one.
Feeble coughs up bluish blood, the armor plate.
This is your burden, child. Survive. Return to the fold of your house as your destiny demands.
No! Don't leave me alone in this violet-brown haze! Wake up! Your mistress is giving you an order! Do you hear me?
Cassia looks at the navigator's body in bewilderment, and you are overwhelmed about an inexplicable sense of loneliness and grief.
He was a fine seer of the war. He fought for his mistress until the end.
Yeah, no. Enough's enough. I've had my fill of waterworks, thank you.
I regret that we had to meet under such circumstances.
What need have I for your regrets? I just want things to go back to the way they were before.
I shall look thorough for the other destruction around there.
What? What are you going to do to me?
If you wish to leave the station alive, you must first sign a contract. You will undertake to serve as my navigator until I release you from your obligation.
I beg your pardon, but what about my servants? Your Act 5 is still full of people loyal to House Orselio.
All who could be saved will be given succor on board my ship. Lady Navigator ponders your words for a short while.
I am afraid you leave me no choice, Lord Captain. I agree. Now take me to your vessel. Color the uncolored.
Oh, Captain, Lady Navigators, welcome aboard. The Sanctum Navis has been prepared for the communication ritual, but if the Lady Navigator wishes to rest in her quarters first... Your heart starts beating furiously, your breath comes short and choppy, and your fingertips tingle unpleasantly. You notice that Vigdis is shivering slightly, and the crew are glancing around in puzzlement, searching for the source of this sudden wave of unease. Without even looking at the Vox Master, Cassia waves her away. First, I wish to speak with the rock trader. Leave us. Of course, when you are ready for the ritual, please let me know. Cassia shoots his pensive gaze over Vigdis, then lowering her lashes slightly, turns to you. By what right do you issue command on my vessel? Do not forget that you are alive solely thanks to my magnanimity. Cassia, uh, Cassia's ruby red eye seems to glitter with some intense emotion, whether anger or fear, it is hard to say. Casting her eyes down, she then continues quietly, choosing each word with care. Forgive my insolence, rogue trader. It was not my intention to wave coppery threads around you, or to appear ungrateful. Tell me more about the ritual. What does it entail? I doubt the uninitiated could understand the mysteries of navigation, but I shall try to explain the essence of it. I must merge my mind and will with the machine spirit of the ship, and so that it becomes one with the vessel. Cassia lifts a lock of hair from the back of her neck, revealing gilded implant ports. After that, I use the House Orsilia ritual, which I am loath to reveal to you, to free my mind to all errant thoughts, and then it's time to open my third eye and peer into the depth of the warp itself. Among the nightmare's vision, migraines, and creatures of the abyss, only the light of the Emperor is the truth that will lead me from the star to star, from system to system. Oh, the light, the guiding thread so fine it can slip from one's grasp at any moment. Kasia unfurls her hands as though dropping something. But you have nothing to worry about. The navigators of House Orsilia never lose their course. What did you wish to speak about? Before I begin the ritual, I wish to look once again onto the eyes of the man whose fame is so great it mangled to penetrate the impregnable walls of Urak 5 long before we ever met. It is true. It truly is you, Neroth Vox, the person the whole Expanse and Calyx sector are talking about, and now a rogue trader as well. After pausing for a few seconds, Cassie sighs briefly, then lifts her pointed chin high. And yet you have made it clear that on this ship my hands and lips are bound by your will. I suppose glittering fame does not guarantee equally glittering manners. Now I have even more questions than answers. Rogue trader, you took advantage of my wrecked position, forced me to board your vessel under fear of death, and now you stand there, expecting my cooperation. Please dispel once and for all the tenebrous fog of doubt in my mind. Am I a prisoner of this void ship? Hardly. You are free to leave as soon as I find some replacement to replace you. Cassia nods curtly. Very well, so be it. I am also deeply grateful that you saved my servants, especially my valet. You've served on the station for more than 5 years, much longer than any who preceded him. He knows how to properly attend to me during journeys through the Immaterium and what to serve me for breakfast. His presence envelops me in cloaks of amber. But now, Cassia throws back a shoulder, I am ready to go to the Sanctum Navis and perform the sacred rite. I will cry brushes, canvas, and the best paints we have on board, but no red. Why do you refuse red paint? Cassia gestures towards the servant standing beside her. Uv will give us his blood before the ritual, as always. I shall ensure that all necessary supplies are delivered to the Sanctum Navis. Cassia nods in thanks. I shall take my leave of you for the duration of the rite. I ask that you do not follow me. Few can survive the gaze of my warp eye when it is open. Lord Captain, I will oversee the open channel between the Lady Navigator and the bridge, and may the Emperor's lights help us all. The Voxcaster in the Sanctum Navis picks up this susurration of clothes, pious chanting, and the metallic clicking of implants. Then the serene voice of the Lady Navigators breaks the silence, initiating communion ritual. Come here, Uv. The exultant ring of metal freed from scabbard, the low sobs of servants, the rhythmic drips of liquid on canvas, the faint whisper of the brush. Go! Footstep hurrying away. Icy violet vortexes lashing an ocean with million sails, and amber shadows spinning over the surface of the fiery dance, a storm rising above the foaming waters, armadas drowning in the fog, the path from one end to the other cannot be seen. And there beyond the wall of glass a daughter forsaken by the father yearns for her brother, and the sun's pale disk goes in tireless pursuit of her, no, of me. Its frozen rays lie like spring is here. The light is deadened. The great ruler is gone. The Vox Master records Acacia words and accidentally spans out of the Caditator's levers. The panel beneath her fingers emits sparks and the Vox caster falls silent. She quickly flips a series of switches and bows guiltily. My abject apologies for cutting off the broadcast, Lord Captain. I have never heard the warp speaking through the navigators before. The connection is restored now. I will not happen again. Vox Master, see to it that you receive 5 lashes for the show of clumsiness. What is happening to Cassia? Soul shredding screams drown out the Vox transmission. The servant in the Sanctum Avis are howling and shrieking like wild beasts moaning in pain. Their throats roar from the strain, and then sudden silence. The dull thud of dropping bodies proclaims their fate. It appears the servants were part of the Lady Navigator's rite, as it was for the predecessor. I will arrange for the bodies to be removed from the Sanctum Navis after the ritual, or what is left of them. Rogue Trader, I fear I have unfortunate news. Endless blackness has spread across the canvas, dividing what should be whole in two, and my sight cannot glimpse the light of the Emperors as clearly as before. I cannot turn around my brush. Only draws me onward. The way is blocked. You hear a heavy exhale, rustling fabric, and metallic clicking. But the Emperors grace the ritual was successful. Your vessel temperament presented a challenge. Its cold steel grip did not allow me to breathe freely even for a second. It was as if the depths of the ship housed not only machine spirits but something other. Now I will retreat to my chamber to recover my strength. Send for me when you have need of me. Lord Captain, congratulations on acquiring the Navigator. Please spare me a few moments of your time, and there are several matters that require your attention. First of all, I wish to report on the condition of the station. Had you opted to begin your visit to Raikan's system with a different destination, the station could have become critically unstable. Fortunately, the decision to immediately visit the representatives of Navis Nobula brought us precious time. We can either focus on efforts of disassembling the station and procuring technology components for our own vessel, or attempt to save as many valuables as we can. Loot everything from jewelry to very last manuscript. As you wish, Lord Commander. With our permission, I would also like to remind you that we are still looking for the engine Seer Prime. Both the vessel and its machine spirit are in desperate need of oversight by the experienced tech priest. We are also missing some crew, and much more importantly, we have not yet located Henriks van Kalox, the right hand of the Lord Inquisitor. Now we know for certain he was not on Auric 5, so we should keep this in mind when we make any future plans. Thank you, Vigdis. This will be all for now. As it pleases you, Lord Captain. Tell me about yourself.
To holy terror. A navigator is given life only to serve their house. Our every breath, every word, every deed is for the good and prosperity of our house. By looking at me and not seeing the house, you only see a fleeting shadow. If that is what interests you, ask.
So you never lived anywhere else than Eureka 5?
Hardly. According to the chronicles of the house, I was born on one of the Orcelio worlds. Oh, what was it? Please forgive me, Lord Captain. My childhood memories are too vague. Sometimes I dream about the colorful birds that built their nests in the garden, or the servants dressed in purple livery, or the blue fog that rolled over the lowlands behind the palace. But everything is covered in a rosy haze. Perhaps it is my imagination, not my memory, that is painting these pictures. My stay on the station was wholly dedicated to preparing me for my future duty. Astromancy, astrography, numerology, the histories of my house and the Imperium, as well as other disciplines. For many years, dozens of instructors tirelessly prepared me for my destiny. And once a year, Great Regent Alronto would come to the station. He would entrust his beautiful vessel to my command, so that I could master the practical aspects of our art as well. The Regent gave me a bird from a sunlit planet once. I tried to befriend it and make it sing, but for some reason, it refused, and died soon after. The instructors were too respectful of my duty to my house to waste precious time on idle chatter. Aside from them, there were only servants on the station. And you know they have their vocal cords removed, so they cannot break their vow of silence. And since the subject has been breached, Lord Captain, why do you not follow this honored tradition? Your decks are so garish. Apologies, I meant noisy. The rabble don't just chatter. Sometimes they shout and even sing. Why do you allow such a lack of restraint? Rogue traders are highborn, are they not?
You have a point. It's about time we made the deck quieter. I will have a lower run, stripped of the low vocal cords.
I am sure you will rectify this shortcoming in no time at all.
The third eye, do you always conceal it?
The Navigator's open eye is baneful to whoever the warp's ruinous shine falls upon, and therefore it is the symbol of our power. We are the guiding stars of humanity, found worthy of an uncommon gift, and one of the duties that we bear is to guard our eye, even from wayward glances that may bear evil. Besides, I am aware that lesser servants of the Imperium may find our appearance repulsive. The Navigator gene twists the features the rabble are used to seeing, and the magnificence of our role cannot be grasped by their feeble minds.
You are beautiful, Cassia. Do not let anyone or anything convince you otherwise.
Lord Captain, you are overstepping the bounds of propriety.
I would not dare to make a fun of ladies' feeling, especially not one who has captivated me since the first set eyes on her.
Words like that, Lord Captain, could easily be misconstrued. You should familiarize yourself with some of the works in your library to learn the appropriate manner of conversing with a lady.
How does it feel like get vested through the warp?
It may be difficult to describe. You see, every navigator perceives the warp differently. My mentor, Great Regent Elronto, always described his travels through the Immaterium as a journey through a vast wood with countless paths. And I, assisting him in the first voyages, futilely tried to follow his example. But the wood would not reveal itself to me. But everything changed when I found my own key to this mystery. You see, I've always brightened up my rare moments of leisure time by painting. You may recall there was a workshop in my chambers. As soon as I imagined the warp as a blank canvas, an indescribable feeling came over me. I moved the brush, going deeper and deeper into my own painting. Visions were hidden within the vibrant colors of my palette, and something inside me knew which should be brought out and which should be left behind. I woke up several days later, after the voyage was safely complete.
I've noticed that your love of painting is reflected in your speech as well. You associate so many images with hues of colors.
The Emperor graced me with a gift. I can see inner life in addition to the mundane. You cannot know that a fruit has rotten from the inside until a blade slices it in two. I can see the rot from far away. It roils like swamp mud, oozing through the bright peel. Anger and boredom, sadness and joy. Everything that people shut away inside themselves is revealed to me like colors on the canvas of my world. You will hear no objection from me, Lord Captain.
House.
As the only voice of our family on this vessel, it is an honor. As long as your questions are courteous, I will answer every one of them.
Is the Orcelia prophecy system named after your ancestor?
You are shrewd indeed. My ancestor charted that route while fleeing the enemies of humanity. They say the Emperor himself was his guide, because the warp expelled their vessel without a single loss. Unfortunately, the lips of those who relate this tale seep with disgusting green hubris. I think Kalain Orcelio was simply a skilled navigator.
I think you've got a rich history.
Oh, yes. The navigators of the house came to the Coronis Expanse fairly recently, a mere 208 years ago. Before that, our ancestors expanded the borders of humankind's dominion for the glory of the Emperor, blazing trails to different corners of the galaxy.
Who rules the house?
Just as a rogue trader stands at the head of a protectorate, a Novator heads a navigator house. It is the Novator who decides where to look for alliances and which path their bloodline is destined to tread. As for our house, the transfer of power to a successor is currently underway. In the meantime, Great Regent Elronto Orcelio is ensuring the stability of the house.
You live in seclusion on a closed station until Fele committed his sabotage, so then you must be the Novator's successor?
So says Regent Elronto. Nothing is decided yet. Some people in the house become enshrouded in rolling grey clouds at the thought of me becoming the Novator. But even more are bound with dull leaden chains. They think I am not ready for such a burden. By all means.
What does your special sight reveal?
Sister Argenta shines like a guiding star, inspiring resolve in those around her, seemingly inexplicably. However, I see a dark and ugly fog billow behind her, contrasting sharply with her shining light. It burdens the Sister of Battle. It drags her down. Yet Argenta herself is hardly aware of it. Seneschal Viserion is among the few whose colors are a pleasure to look at. Whenever the Seneschal speaks, heavenly crystal clarity spreads around him. And whenever he is angered, dark blue clouds condense over him. And in his rare moments of joy, a pure gleam of sunset pink caresses the souls of those near him. Out of your entire retinue, Lord Captain, he is the only one I would trust with my life. Idira's emotions are like a maelstrom, bright, unbridled, enveloping her form like a wondrous kaleidoscope of colors. and as dangerous as a twisting warp storm. The riot of colors hides the truth from my eyes. What exactly is driving this woman? Is it her own will, or is it the Immaterium, Lord Captain? I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
No, Captain, there is some commotion in the officer's decks. The Lady Navigator has left her quarters and currently in the wardroom, where uninitiated crew members are shunning her in terror. Perhaps you should find out what has brought Cassia on the deck.
Lord Captain, my apologies. I did not notice your entrance.
I see you fond of reading.
Oh, this. I found this fascinating read on one of the shelves. And I must say, it has caught my eye. Its every chapter is written in verse. I find it so beautiful and enrapturing. Uruk 5 had a vast archive of its own, of course. Although most of the works within had to do with scholarly disciplines of some sort or another. Only in my sparse moments of respite was I allowed to escape into the pages of more embellished works.
Cassie gently brushes the dust of the cover with a thin, clawed hand, her eyes filled with longing after reminiscing about her lost home. Your only attendant is your valet from the Uruk 5. Do my servers not measure up to your standards?
No. It is not that at all, Lord Captain. It is just that Uwe is quite capable of carrying out his duties by himself. He is well accustomed to my whims and preferences.
Cassia cringes ever so slightly, adjusts the adornments of her forehead, then awkwardly hides her clawed fingers in the folds of her clothes. The unnatural appearances of navigators often becomes the topic of gossip among lowly servants and officers alike. It is unsurprising then that Cassia prefers the company of one who is used to how she looks. I hope that you have had ample time to calm yourself and your powers.
There are people on this ship who are far more impulsive and dangerous to others, and far less devoted to the God Emperor than a herald of the Navis nobility. But I did not need your words to see the shades of umber unease that whirl around your subjects whenever I am near. Were I not acquainted with such a reaction, I could have found their behavior and your question just now insulting.
The events that took place on Uruk 5 must have shaken you greatly. Are you well?
One should not underestimate the navigators of House Orselio, Lord Captain. Like a shawl of pale smoke, a faint malaise hangs upon my shoulders, but it will not be the slightest hindrance to my duty to humanity, and my duty to you.
Cass's response is reserved and pointedly decorous, clearly intended to create a distance between you.
Lord Captain, would you kindly explain to me why you are pestering me with these questions? Inquiring about my mood and my needs, showing an interest in the books I am enjoying. You are behaving as if you possessed a shred of fellow feeling for one such as I. I beg your pardon, Lord Captain.
That was no way for a navigator to conduct herself.
I'm beginning to think, Lady Caster, that the feelings I have for you are far from more complicated than common sympathy.
Lord Captain? So many colorful sparks are flaring to life and dimming all around you. It is a veritable ocean of emotions. There are so many of them that I can barely see the pure white sincerity of your words. Please forgive me. I cannot even understand myself right now. Your words and attention have reminded me of life on the station, of Theobald and Felek. I do not understand. They were merely the keepers of Urak 5. So why do memories of those two make me feel a strange heaviness here?
She places her hand on her breastplate.
At the same time, I find myself overwhelmed with new excitement and anticipation. At last, I have set foot outside my familiar walls and into a world that I have only seen before in the pages of books. Your ship alone is a treasure trove of remarkable artifacts and curiosities. And just imagine the things that await beyond, but my delight must seem childish to you, surely. In your heart, you must be finding all this quite amusing.
I would rather we found amusement elsewhere, perhaps in the privacy of my chambers.
Lord Captain, what do you think you are doing? Saying such a thing to someone with whom you are barely acquainted? It is outrageous. It's obscene. You should better familiarize yourself with some of the works in your library to learn how one ought to behave around a lady.
Struggling to maintain an expression of polite indifference, Cassia turns on her heel and swiftly exits the room. Permission to report, Lord Captain. Members of the Sacred Court operating aboard this ship have requested an audience. They wish to present gifts and introduce themselves to the new captain. What Sacred Court? They call themselves the Bloodspawn Web. The Court defenders the flagship from both internal and external threats. Lady Theodora held them in high regards and looked fabulously upon their activities. I'm ready to receive them. I will commence preparation at once, Lord Captain. I have more pressing matters that require my attention. Please let me know when Laura is ready to receive the cultists. I will await your orders on the bridge. As always, I'm at your service. The Astrophile station is dead ahead of the void ship. It is motionless. There is lifeless silence across the Vox frequencies. Its lights are out. Even those who have no warp sensitivity can feel the presence of death. It is here, lurking in the shadows. All of them makes reading the reports of the ship astropath, who claim to be hearing the incessant ghostly howl emanating from the station, all the more disturbing. Deploy the scouting team. The enforcers offered their prayers and proceeded to enter the uncanny station. What they saw inside was monstrous. Astropaths upon their throne, not quite here, not quite now, smudged as if it were across time. Servants revealing their horrible deaths again and again, only to be reborn out of ashes and blood into more agony a moment later. The warp manifests itself here, twisting the very nature of existence. The main hall was covered in a crust of psychic ice. The green-robed blind man all sat motionless upon the tall throne. He was quite literally embedded in the ice, yet he was still alive and screaming. Send Zaharovich to the station with a squad of bodyguards. Choir Master Vage boarded the station in person and proceeded to the choir hall. He stood silently for hours in front of man frozen in ice and held a telepathic conversation with him. Vage offered a prayer of the Gold Emperor, and the unfortunate man passed away. Upon returning to the ship, Vage reverently pressed the Lord Captain with grim trophy, the late choir master amulet taken from his frozen body after his death. The psychic shriek carrying across the Immaterium has been silenced, but this has brought the crew no relief. A chilling realization comes from the astropaths when they discover that the cry was masking a different sound, one every more terrifying and unreal. It was the melody of a cataclysm born from the warp storm of titanic power, so intense that the entire Expand must be able to hear it. It muffles astrophobic message and crawls into Psyche's mind, evoking everywhere the same image, the dark, gaping, beastly mouth, cleaving the universe in two. Now that the mad choir master has finally stopped screaming, the song of the Immaterium has reached the rock trader void ships too. Burn everything. Void torpedoes shatter the fragile station. One can only hope that the unfortunate soul captured by the warp has perished along with the home.